water with waves. I don't know if you've been to sea before. You know, sometimes the waves are so strong that it comes, and if you are in a boat, if you are in a dingy boat, it comes and so close, and you wonder, oh, is this going to really get into the boat? And sometimes it does go through the boat. It does. Water come into the boat, and you read that the boat was getting full of water. But here, the Bible tells us that Jesus was asleep. He was asleep. You see, sometimes when we are going through storms, Pastor, sometimes we wonder if God is still there. Sometimes we wonder, is God asleep on the job? Why is it that the storms are raging in my life and Jesus seems not to care? Does Jesus care? And the songwriter says, yes, he cares. Yes, he knows. Yes, he sees. Jesus cared. And so he was asleep. He was asleep. Sometimes when you are going through your crucible, sometimes when you are going through your storms, there are so many people who come your way, and the light will be painted in so much that Satan will bring pictures to you so much that it seems that this is impossible. It seems that this is a permanent sport. It seems that this is what you are stuck with. It seems that there's no way out. But I'm here to let you know that Jesus sees, Jesus knows, and that is not your permanent place. It may seem as if that he's asleep, and so Jesus was asleep, the Bible says. But he was asleep. The water was the waves. Well, it seemed to be that a raging waves was coming. It may seem that a problem was coming. Sometimes you know that when it rains fast and it really pours. You're talking about you have your issues here, and then people from back home. No, Ugandans don't do that. They don't call for money. No. Some of us Africans maybe will do that. Ghanaians say, we don't call. We need money. Money to do this, money to do that. And sometimes you send money, and the money is used for something else. No, it's only in Ghana that sometimes you send money, hoping that people will do something for you, and the money is used to do something else. And so that is the plight of the immigrant. But these disciples, just like you and I, sometimes it may seem as if that God is asleep. It may seem as if that he doesn't care. But I just want you to know that yes, he cares. Yes, he knows. These seasoned people, they felt the sudden danger that they were in. They felt the storms that they were in, and storms that sometimes all of a sudden can catch us unaware. They felt it. The ship was full of water, but does it mean he doesn't care? No. Don't you care that we perish, he asked him. Don't you care, Lord, save us. We are perishing. Don't you care that we are perishing? Lord, save us, that we are perishing. And it's always important, my friends, that whatever it is that we go through, that we present our petitions to God. Especially when we invite him in our boat, when we invite him in our lives. You see, God will not bother with you. He will be available. But if you don't invite him, he will not impose himself on you. But when we invite him in our lives, will let us know that yes, we will go through difficulties, but he is not asleep. It may be you may be going through a protecting storm, something that maybe you need to get sick today so that you don't go running around to meet an accident. And sometimes we go through certain things we just don't understand. I remember a friend of mine said that he wanted to marry this woman, and it didn't work out, and he was so in pain. And then fast forward about 15 years after he went, and he said, my goodness, I thank God that did not work out. I said, what do you mean? He said, I looked at the same girl, the same woman, and she's not the same woman anymore. And so sometimes we go through certain difficulties, we don't understand it right there and then. But with time explains why we go through, why we went through what we went through. And so don't you care that we are perishing? They have good reason to be fearful. But they also have good reason not to be fearful. It's a choice. Because Jesus was already in the boat. But on a physical level, they realized they were perishing, and so they went to him. Said, Master, they knew that he is a miracle maker. They knew that he is a miracle worker. They knew that he was the Lord of Lords. The Lord, save us. We are perishing. Sometimes we need to cry out to God, God, help me. See, sometimes we know too much to resolve our own issues. We want to find, smart ways, and we have people who will suggest smart ways of resolving our issues. But maybe the answer lies in crying out to God, Lord, save me, help me. See, storms allows us to see ourselves. One thing that I want to share with you, if you miss anything, remember this, bringing it to a close now. Trusting Jesus means believing He is in control, even when it seems that He is silent and distant. Trust Him. Trust Him. Trust Him. Storms allows us to see who we are. This revealed to Jesus who the disciples were. And he said to them, why are you so fearful? There was a faith versus fear. Adversity has a way of introducing us to our real self. Difficulty, storms has a way of revealing to us who we really are. We live in a cosmic world. This cosmic world is a world of great controversy, good and evil. Whether we like it or not, that is the fact. And it's up to us to choose who to trust. Storms are times of restoration. If we allow them, storms help to renew us. Storms bring us spiritual growth. Storms help us and it brings us spiritual growth. Why are you fearful? Jesus said, why are you fearful? O you of little faith. Then he rose and he rebuked the wind. Time is gone. I know we have to go for lunch. But there's a song that I was looking at. Master, the tempest is raging. I'm sure you have heard that song before. Master, the tempest is raging. The billows are raging. The billows are tossing high. The sky was shrouded with blackness. No shelter or help in its nigh. Carest thou not that we perish? How canst thou lie asleep when each moment so madly is threatening? A grave in the angry deep. And the winds and the waves shall obey thy voice. Peace be still. Peace be still. This was written by a lady who married Anne Baker. And the story goes that their parents died when they were very young and of tuberculosis. They died of tuberculosis. And so it was left with her sisters and her and their brother. And somehow the brother also caught tuberculosis. And so the sisters, whatever money they can piece together, they brought the money together and sent the brother to Florida where there's a little sunshine where he can recover from the tuberculosis. But a few weeks or months, they also got word that the brother had also died. That they could not even bring the money. They didn't have money to bring his body. They didn't have money to even travel there for his funeral. And so they came so deep, and this was so